Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're really getting into the psychology of trading. You know, a lot of people think trading is all about charts and indicators, but today, well, we're going deeper. We're going to see what makes those consistently profitable traders tick. So we're diving into Mark Douglas's Trading in the Zone, specifically Chapter 3, which is called Taking Responsibility. Now, I got to admit, when I first saw that title, I thought, another chapter on risk management. But I was so wrong. This chapter is all about mindset. It's about the mental game of trading. And honestly, it's some of the most powerful stuff I've ever read on the subject.
Yeah, what's funny is that so many people think that trading psychology is all about
Because you're
controlling your emotions, staying disciplined, all that stuff. But Douglas goes way deeper than that. He's talking about our fundamental beliefs about the market, about ourselves, and how those beliefs can either make or break us as traders.
So it's not just about not freaking out when a trade goes against you. It's about understanding why we freak out in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then rewiring our brains to think differently.
Exactly. And one of the things that really blew my mind when I first read this chapter was this idea that winning can actually be more dangerous than losing, especially for new traders.
Wait, really? How is that even possible?
Well, think about it. When you're first starting out, you don't really have any expectations. You're just kind of playing around, seeing what works.
Right.
And then if you happen to have a few winning trades, it can be really easy to get caught up in the excitement.
You start thinking, oh, I got this.
Like you've cracked the code, and that's when things start to get dangerous.
Because you haven't actually developed the skills.
Yeah.
Or the mindset.
Yeah.
To handle the inevitable losses that are going to come.
Exactly. It's like you're building a house on a foundation of sand, and as soon as the winds start blowing, the whole thing is going to come crashing down.
Oh, I like that analogy.
So Douglas argues that we need to build a solid foundation before we even start thinking about making money.
And that foundation is built on taking radical responsibility for our results. Radical responsibility.
Yeah, it sounds kind of intense, right? But basically what it means is acknowledging that we are 100% responsible for everything that happens in our trading.
So not blaming the market.
Yeah.
Or the news. Or our brokers.
Exactly. Because the market doesn't care about our opinions, it doesn't care about our feelings, it just is.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to learn as a trader. I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in that blame game, especially when you're losing money. You're looking for someone or something to blame.
Right. But the sooner we can accept that the market is just a neutral playing field, the sooner we can start focusing on what we can control.
And what exactly is that?
Ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions.
Right, because ultimately,
Right.
the only thing that determines our success or failure as traders is how we respond to the market. So how do we do that? How do we start taking radical responsibility?
Well, it starts with understanding how our own psychology, our beliefs, our biases can impact our trading decisions.
Yeah, so it's kind of like self-awareness is the first step.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all have these unconscious beliefs and patterns that can sabotage our trading.
Oh, yeah. I know all about those.
But until we become aware of them, we're kind of just running around on autopilot.
Right, just reacting to the market instead of making conscious choices.
And that's where all the trouble starts.
So we're going to dive into some of those unconscious beliefs and patterns coming up after the break.
Sound good.
Okay, so we're back, and we're talking about all those hidden beliefs that can really mess with our trading. I think we left off with this idea that sometimes we're not even aware of these beliefs. They're kind of running in the background.
Yeah, it's like there are these little programs running in our subconscious, influencing our decisions without us even realizing it.
So how do we even start to uncover these beliefs?
Well, the market can actually help us with that. Remember how we talked about the market being like a mirror?
Yeah, reflecting our internal state back to us.
Exactly. So if we're paying attention to our thoughts and emotions when we're trading, we can start to see those beliefs reflected back to us.
Okay, so if I'm constantly getting frustrated because my trades aren't going my way, maybe that's a sign that I have some underlying belief that the market should be predictable.
That's a great example. Because remember, the market is inherently unpredictable. So if we're clinging to this belief that we can somehow control it, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment.
And probably a lot of stress.
Exactly. Another common belief that can sabotage our trading is the idea that making money is supposed to be hard.
Oh, yeah, that one's a biggie.
It's like we have this subconscious belief
Mm-hmm.
that we don't deserve to make money easily.
Or that we have to suffer to be successful.
Right, and that belief can manifest in all sorts of ways, like overtrading, taking unnecessary risks, or just generally making things harder than they need to be.
So it's like we're creating our own obstacles.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and then when things inevitably go wrong, we just reinforce that belief that trading is hard and that we're not good enough.
It's like a vicious cycle.
It is, and it can be really hard to break out of.
So what's the solution?
Well, it starts with awareness. Like we were talking about before, we need to become aware of these beliefs, and then we need to challenge them.
So it's not enough to just identify them. We have to actually do something about them.
Right, because simply being aware of a belief doesn't make it go away.
So how do we challenge these beliefs?
Well, there are a lot of different techniques, but one of the most effective is to simply ask ourselves, is this belief really true?
Okay, so like if I have a belief that trading is hard, I could ask myself, is it really true that trading has to be hard?
Exactly. And then you can start to look for evidence to support or refute that belief.
And chances are, if you look hard enough, you'll find plenty of evidence that trading doesn't have to be hard.
Right. There are plenty of people out there who are making consistent profits without stressing themselves out.
So it's possible.
It is. And the more we can expose ourselves to those examples, the more we can start to challenge our own limiting beliefs.
And start to believe that we can achieve the same level of success.
Exactly.
This is so powerful.
It is. And it all comes back to taking responsibility.
Because once we realize that our beliefs are creating our reality, we can start to choose different beliefs.
Beliefs that will support our goals instead of sabotaging them.
It's like we're taking back control.
We are. We're becoming the masters of our own minds.
And the masters of our own trading destinies.
Exactly.
This is incredible.
It is. And we're just scratching the surface here.
There's so much more to explore.
There is.
So if you're interested in learning more about trading psychology,
I highly recommend checking out Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone.
it's a classic for a reason.
It is.
And it will definitely change the way you think about trading. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries.
Okay, so we've been talking about how the market's like this mirror, reflecting all our beliefs and stuff back to us. But can we get specific? What are some examples of these beliefs that are messing us up?
Oh, there are so many. But one of the most common ones is this idea that if we just know enough about the market, like if we just study hard enough, we can eliminate risk.
Oh, yeah. I used to think that way, too.
It's like we're searching for this holy grail of information that will make us invincible.
Right.
But the thing is, the market is always going to be uncertain. There's no way to predict the future with 100% accuracy.
So no matter how much we learn, there's always going to be some risk involved.
Exactly. And if we're not comfortable with that, if we're always trying to avoid risk, we're never going to be truly successful.
Because we'll be too afraid to take any trades.
Exactly. Or we'll end up overtrading, trying to make up for our losses.
Which just leads to more losses.
Right. So it's a real catch-22.
So what's the solution? How do we learn to accept risk? Well, it starts with understanding that risk is an inherent part of trading. It's like gravity. It's just there.
We can't escape it.
Nope. But once we accept that, we can start to manage it.
So it's not about eliminating risk. It's about learning to live with it.
Exactly. And that means having a plan for how much risk we're willing to take on each trade.
And sticking to that plan.
No matter what.
Even when our emotions are telling us to do otherwise.
Especially then.
Okay, so that's one belief. What are some other ones that can sabotage our trading?
Well, another big one is the belief that making money is supposed to be hard.
Oh, yeah. I think we all have that one somewhere deep down.
It's like it's ingrained in our culture. Work hard, suffer, and then maybe you'll be rewarded.
Right.
But the problem is that belief can create a lot of resistance. It can make trading feel like a chore, like something we have to force ourselves to do.
And when we're feeling that way, it's hard to be objective.
It is. We're more likely to make emotional decisions.
Which usually aren't the best decisions.
No. So it's important to challenge that belief, to ask ourselves, does making money really have to be hard?
And if we're honest with ourselves, the answer is probably no.
Right. There are plenty of people out there who are making money easily and effortlessly.
It's possible.
It is. And the more we can open ourselves up to that possibility, the more likely we are to attract it into our own lives.
Okay, so we've talked about the belief that we can eliminate risk and the belief that making money has to be hard. Any other big ones we should be aware of?
Well, there's one more that I think is really important, and that's the belief that we're not worthy of success.
Ooh, that one's tough.
It is, but it's so common, especially among traders.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's because trading is such a challenging endeavor. It requires a lot of skill, a lot of discipline, and a lot of mental toughness.
So it's easy to feel like we're not good enough.
Exactly. And when we feel that way, we tend to sabotage ourselves.
Like how?
Well, we might hold on to losing trades for too long, hoping that they'll turn around. Or we might cut winning trades short because we're afraid of losing our profits.
So it's like we're subconsciously trying to prove ourselves right.
Even if it means losing money.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is, but it's something that a lot of traders struggle with.
So what's the solution?
Well, the first step is to become aware of that belief, to recognize that it's just a belief, it's not a fact.
Right.
And once we've done that, we can start to challenge it.
So we can start to ask ourselves, why do I believe that I'm not worthy of success?
Exactly. And we can start to look for evidence to the contrary.
Like all the times we have been successful in the past.
Exactly. Because the truth is, we are all worthy of success.
We just have to believe it.
And that's not always easy.
It's not, but it's so important.
It is. Because when we believe in ourselves, we open ourselves up to all sorts of possibilities.
So how do we start believing in ourselves?
Well, it takes time and effort, but one of the best things we can do is to surround ourselves with people who believe in us.
People who support us and who encourage us to pursue our dreams.
Exactly. Because when we have that kind of support, it makes it a lot easier to believe in ourselves.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening conversation. I'm really starting to see how much our beliefs can impact our trading.
Me too. And the good news is that once we become aware of those beliefs, we can start to change them.
And create the kind of trading results that we desire.
Exactly.
So if you're ready to start taking control of your trading psychology,
I highly recommend checking out Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas.
it's an incredible book.
It really is.
And it will definitely change the way you think about trading.
Forever.
So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.